Hi, my name is Mary Dunn, and I'd like to discuss why we should keep our military operations overseas. As long as there is a terrorist group on this planet that poses a threat, I believe that the United States should continue to conduct overseas operations to fight the war on terror. The war on terror today does not only include the United States in overseas military operations. Many countries are involved in standing by our side fighting foreign terror groups. Terrorists have become very big and popular, mainly in the Middle East. However, individuals from almost every country in the world have joined terrorist groups in various parts of the world. The main terrorist groups that you hear about today are Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. Recently, ISIS and ISIL have become very known in Iraq and Syria. Overseas operations do not have to be fighting terrorist groups. We have allies that sometimes need help from a neighboring country that threatens them or poses a risk. As you can see today, our allies have been very supportive in us fighting the war on terror. They have been alongside us from the beginning. We need to keep a good relation with these countries so that we have friends in different continents. Without these allies, it would be impossible to move strategically around the globe to conduct our combat operations. While any country that has offered support since 9/11 to the global war on terrorism has been called an ally, only 23 countries are formally obligated by treaty to defend the United States from an armed attack. According to Pascagoula and Huang, these treaty allies include Australia, Japan, the Republic of Korea, the Philippines, and Thailand, along with the 18 countries that belong to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Resources are vital to the survival of the United States of America. We receive more oil from other countries than we own. The United States has oil reserves, but the majority of oil comes from the Middle East. Oil is not the only resource we get from other countries. Food, mineral, petroleum, hydropower, and other resources come from outside the U.S. We would not be the country we are today without these resources. However, the same goes for us. We give aid to countries in need. For example, when Haiti was hit by an earthquake in 2010, around 100,000 to 160,000 deaths occurred, along with 250,000 residents destroyed. According to Bratberg and Sandelius, the United States graciously gave around $1 billion in support to Haiti, which included food, medical supplies, and within 24 hours, U.S. forces arrived on scene, which included personnel from all military branches. The continuous efforts made by the United States conducting overseas operations to create and maintain our alliances and protect our resources will reduce the chance of another major war or possibly the chance of another catastrophic terrorist attack to occur. We must continue to work with our neighboring countries as well as with our alliances on other continents. We must bring the fight to terrorist groups so that they don't bring the fight to us and create another 9/11 or a Boston bombing. The United States must do everything in its power to prevent another war. With the technology today, a war between two nations with nuclear capabilities would result in entire cities being destroyed, with neighboring cities being in threat of radiation poisoning. If we discontinue our military operations overseas, the alliance we have with many countries may fall. The 23 countries that fall under NATO today is a large reason that another major world war has not started yet. If NATO is terminated due to lack of trust between nations or a falling out, a major war is sure to happen. In conclusion, we must continue military operations overseas, not only for the United States, but for every country that calls us their ally. Without allies, the stability of our nation and nations like us will fail, especially when attacked by an enemy with a greater force. Our current war on terror would not have been as successful as it was if not for the help of our nations. Also, without our current military operations to coincide with other nations, resources would be very scarce. The United States would be on the verge of a total breakdown and possibly become a third world country. As stated before, a lot of resources come from the Middle East. If the United States abandons the Middle East, resources would be harder to come by and our economy would be in a downfall. A lot of people do not support the war on terror. However, without the conflicts that we are currently in, terror groups would be able to roam freely and plot against any country. Without bringing the fight to the enemy will bring the fight to us and cause damage to our public safety, resources, and our economic infrastructure. Thank you.